Let's get started. Now, let's talk about something. I think every coach that aspires to be a great coach certainly does things that might seem a little mean on the front end, but it is in the best interest of their mentees, right? So I'm going to give you an example. So if you go to a doctor and doctor tells you, hey man, like you some bad news, we need to do surgery on you, and you willingly go through anesthesia and they cut you open, they do whatever they do and they stitch you up and there's a recovery period, right? It sounds horrific. Why would anyone go through that? However, you trust that doctor found something that if you don't go through that horrific experience of having a surgery, maybe some tumor is growing inside you and it might be a silent one, you don't feel anything right now, but after a certain period of time, it's going to kill its host, which is you. So for that reason, you go through the trouble of going through all that pain so you can live a healthier life later on. That analogy brings me to talk about what a great coach does. Sometimes a great coach's job is to call you out on your BS, right? So that's why I wanted to talk about how simple it is to generate leads in this industry, because people usually build up these myths about certain things being difficult, and I'm going to explain to you why that is so. It's very interesting to watch, right? And we all fall for that. So many people look for a way out of their current situation. Maybe you have a job that's not really paying you your true worth, or maybe you started a business with the great intention, it's not really going well. Maybe you don't have the time freedom, the location freedom, or you're looking for the financial freedom. So in summary, you're not happy with your current situation and you know that you must do something to change your current situation. So that action of doing something is a requirement. You acknowledge that. Then you look for solutions. And then maybe you come across, business loan brokerage and other ways to do things with all intentions. You get started in that very business, whatever that business is, because you're not happy with your current situation. Then time goes by and you start telling yourself, oh my God, this is more complicated than I thought it is. And I need to do this. I need a proper looking website. My logo's color is a little off. I need to send X amount of emails maybe. I need to talk to people. Then the list goes on and on and on. So I want you to understand what's going on there. Something very interesting happens, right? So you notice that you wanted to take action, but the pain of taking this action and going through this change is bigger in magnitude than the pain of staying in your current situation. You thought your current situation was painful, but now you're going to be making all kinds of changes, and that is some scary stuff, and you don't want to do that. What do? So we usually manufacture reasons. Even though something is not complicated, we make ourselves subconsciously believe that that thing is complicated, so we justify our lack of action. Sounds complicated, right? It usually is, right? So instead of saying, you know what, I'm a procrastinator, or I have this fear of getting started. I have the fear of rejection. I don't want my self-image to be hurt. So what I will do is I'm going to look at this thing, and this thing that I need to do will grow bigger and bigger and bigger in front of my eyes. It's going to create this massive pain. Like I want to make a change. However, the situation that I was in and I'm in doesn't look as bad now because I need to do something more painful right now. That's why I gave that analogy of the surgery. The taking of the action right now could be more painful, but once you do that, it's going to save you in the future. And that's where a great coach comes into play. And sometimes they need to give you a kick in the butt of saying that, no, we need to go through this process because I know you have it in you. I believe in you. Maybe no one else believed in you, but I do. And you're meant to do great things in your life. Even the thought of you trying to make a change separates you from hundreds of millions of people out there, because most people, they look like they're in a deep sleep. They're in like coma state, and they don't know that things are not going to be okay unless they change things. You, on the other hand, notice that you need to change something and you actually took action. So someone needs to remind you. It's like the movie Matrix or the Inception, right? Someone needs to remind you that you are still in that dream. You need to wake up and take action. And the fear that is growing in front of you will be nothing like what your life is 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years from now. I was reading a book by Tony Robbins, and there's a great quote in that book that says that it's okay to be young and broke, but it's not okay to be old and broke, which is very dangerous, right? You don't want to get to an old age and have no money. right? And many people deal with that. When you're younger, you have a couple of options and you still have time on your side, although no one can guarantee how much time any one of us have. So you think that you have that. But as you get older, if that tumor is growing and you don't want to go through that surgery, I can tell you that things are not going to be okay, right? So that's what a great coach does. That's why I want to talk about how simple the lead generation could be, because we tend to complicate certain things. And this is whether you want to become a business loan broker or not in general, right? So you need to be okay with doing things that are different than what you have been doing, because what you have been doing brought you here in this state of mind that you're not happy about. If you are happy about it, obviously you probably dropped off and you're not watching the rest of this video. And I'm not saying this again, I'm saying with all the good intentions that you want to listen to people who encourage you to do the hard things, seemingly hard things. That's why I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to take that excuse from a lot of people saying that, hey, lead generation in general is very complicated. Instead of people saying what they don't want to do, they put a mask on certain things to make it look like this monster. Because many people want to go from like 0 to generating 7-8 figures, and when they look at people who generate 7-8 figures a year, their stuff looks complicated, right? So I started my first business, my official first business in 2014. It took me 6 years to generate the first million. 6 years of brutally working like 12 to 14 hours a day, traveling all over the country, paying a lot of money to learn the stuff from the best of the best, right? To get there. And from there, allow me to create multiple companies. But you can't be starting from 0 and try to jump on somebody's page 256. But what you can do is give yourself and your family financial options. That's what money does. It gives you options, right? You can create financial options by generating a few $1,000s on the side at the beginning. Then you can increase it to $5,000, $10,000 a month, then $15,000, $20,000 a month, and on and on and on. If you look at our YouTube channel, you'll see a collection of stories of people having done that in the past. But, instant gratification in business does not exist. If your goal is to go from 0 to building a $10 million a year company, know that people who do that, they're in the top 1 to 5% in their skill set. And you are capable of learning all those skill sets, but it's going to take time. Again, I wanted to be a little hard coach because I believe in you and your capacity to make a change, but it will come with a price tag, right? There are always consequences. There are consequences of not doing anything right now, and you're going to see the consequences of that in the next couple of years, or there are consequences of taking action right now, and you bear the fruits of your labor in probably 15 days, a month to 2 months to 3 months. I hope this makes sense. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care now.